What's going on, lads and lasses? Welcome back to 100% Mags. So finally, Alexander Isak has come out and released a statement, and then Newcastle, of course, have released a statement right after that in response to what Alexander Isak said in his statement. So let's get into it. The statement is as follows. You'll see it up on screen as well. I'm proud to be recognised by my fellow professionals with a place in the PFA Premier League Team of the Season for 24-25, of course, season. First and foremost, I wanted to thank my teammates and everyone at Newcastle United who has supported me along the way. He's not thanking them very much, I can tell you that, with the way he's been going on of late. He then goes on, of course, to say, I'm not at the ceremony tonight with everything going on. It didn't feel right to be there. He then continues to say, I've kept quiet for a long time while others have spoken. That silence has allowed people to push their own version of events. So hitting out at a few people there, even though they know it doesn't reflect what was really said and agreed behind closed doors. Don't know what he's trying to hit it there, to be honest. But he then continues on to say the reality is that promises were made and the club has known my position for a long time. To now act as if these issues are only emerging is misleading. The only misleading thing here is that he was well and truly up for Premier League in many posts, and now all of a sudden seems to be very distant from the team going forward. But we'll continue on. He continues to say, "My promises are when promises are broken and trust is lost, the relationship can't continue. That's where things are for me right now, and why change is the best interests of everyone, not just myself." And then he ends it with Alexander Isak. I mean, reading that statement, looking at what's said there, for me, that sounds like a very bitter person, a person that's trying to portray promises that haven't actually been made. The only promises that everybody knows was made to Alexander Isak was the fact that when Amanda Staveley was with Newcastle United, obviously no longer there now, but when she was there, she promised Alexander Isak that he would get a new contract, bigger pay, and, you know, all of the bells and whistles to that contract to, you know, pay back what had been done by him in the team, along with the other lads as well, who were also getting bigger contracts too. So I don't know what this other promise is that he's trying to portray as. Obviously, he's trying to say, you know, Newcastle have put a promise in there that he could move on to another team. That isn't the case, you know, because we would have known about that. The club would have come out and said about that. And if, you know, that is the case and he is trying to portray that, then that obviously isn't what the promise was. It was only ever a promise for a new contract. Obviously, Paul Mitchell decided when it came to him asking for a new deal that wasn't top of our priority list. And of course, with him having 3 years left on his deal, obviously it's not top of the priority list because we need to use the money and the funds that are available to it to be able to go out and get other players that can play around Alexander Isak and around the other lads in the squad to better the team going forward. But let's move on, of course, and only 5 minutes after Isak had put that post out, we're seeing, of course, our captain, Bruno, putting out a post only 5 minutes after with just a simple arms folded Newcastle United shirt, Newcastle flags behind, and everybody knows what that statement says. There's no words needed. He stands by Newcastle United and he is our captain. And that is the perfect stance, the perfect post by Bruno to put out right after a statement from Alexander Isak, which is purely to down Newcastle and say that there was promises made and that they were broken when, you know, there wasn't, barring a contract, which that wasn't our fault. You know, that was Paul Mitchell deciding that that wasn't the best time, you know, and there wasn't a time to improve a contract when we are trying to invest that money elsewhere to improving the squad. And then we see, Newcastle United come out with a statement, which you will see up on screen here, with them basically saying, "We are disappointed to have been alerted to a social media post by Alexander Isak this evening. We are clear in response that Alex remains under contract and that no commitment has ever been made by a club official that Alex can leave Newcastle United this summer. We want to keep our best players, but we also understand players have their own wishes and we listen to their views. As explained to Alex and his representatives, we must always take into consideration the best interests of Newcastle United, the team and our supporters in all decisions, and we have been clear that the conditions of a sale this summer have not transpired. We do not foresee these conditions being met. This is a proud football club, proud traditions, and we strive to retain our family feel. Alex remains part of our family and will be welcomed back when he is ready to rejoin his teammates." Newcastle United's official statement there. Nothing vicious in it, nothing malicious in it. Newcastle United just coming out with a plain stance that they listened to the considerations of Alexander Isak and his representatives, and that there was no promises made officially by any club official or at all by Newcastle United that he could leave this summer. So where Alex has gotten that impression from, I do not know. But as a Newcastle United fan, looking at this, the club have dealt with it in a really good manner. Everybody at the club has dealt with this in a professional manner. There's been no hateful words thrown towards the player. As you can see at the end there, saying that the club is proud football club, traditions, and will strive on family feel, in that he's welcome back once he is ready to rejoin his teammates. And of course, there'll be an apology needed because of what has went on. He's missed all of the pre-season. He's missed, of course, the first game of the season, which if we had had him in that game, we would have gotten 3 points in that, in my opinion, with the way we played. And, I think if you look at it now, right, Alexander Isak is in a situation where he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Liverpool don't value him at the value that Newcastle are saying, which is 150 million. Liverpool are valuing him at 110, maybe 120 million. But at the end of the day, it's not what Liverpool value it. It's what us value him it. It's what Newcastle United values Alexander Isak at. At the end of the day, Alexander Isak is a Newcastle United player. He is contracted to Newcastle United for the next 3 years. Now, if he's not happy with that, there's a lot of people going around saying that he can trigger Article 17. And there's no possible way for him to trigger Article 17 because it would cost him 150 mil plus to get out of his contract at Newcastle United, because he would have to pay back the money that was invested into him to buy him from Real Sociedad. He'd then have to pay back the entirety of a 6-year contract, the remaining 3 years and the 3 years previous to that as well, because he'll have broke the loyalty clause in said contract. And at the end of the day, no footballer is going to be able to do that. Obviously players like Cristiano Ronaldo could, Mbappe could, other players like that would be able to, but Alexander Isak doesn't have that kind of money at hand right now to be able to pay his way out of a contract. So all these Liverpool fans and other fans out there that are screaming that he should just trigger Article 17 don't understand the rules properly, and the need to go back and look at the rules, look at a situation and realise, Alexander Isak is, he's contracted to Newcastle United, and if we want to, we could easily put him into the reserves and have him rot in that team for 3 years for the remainder of his contract. That's Alexander Isak's best years of his career down the pan, and all because he is going off a he said, she said situation. If there was some sort of agreement made, which the Newcastle have said themselves that there wasn't, if it's a verbal agreement, you need it in writing, you need it in black and white, pardon the pun, on a piece of paper saying that you have a clause where you can leave Newcastle United. And the only way I see Isak getting out of this one, and the only way I see him, solving this is by apologising to the players, apologising to us fans, and apologising to Eddie Howe for the attitude that he has given the whole club, the fans, and the area. The disrespect that has been shown when so much has been invested into this guy as well. And that is his only way out. And then, of course, signing a deal where it includes a release clause so that he can move in the summer, be it to Liverpool or whoever comes in, probably the likes of Barcelona, maybe because I've said many times on the channel, they're going to be looking at getting a striker next summer when Lewandowski moves on, because he is getting on the older side now, Lewandowski, and, Isak would be a perfect player to go and play in the Liga. He's been there before for Real Sociedad, and he would be going back after some huge improvements that have been made to his career at Newcastle United. But let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, of course, and we'll move on to a final piece of news, which is on the women's side of the game. We're delighted to welcome Grace Williams to the club as our new sporting director for women's football. The Newcastle United women are delighted to announce the appointment of Grace Williams as the director of women's football. Grace joins the club from Palace, where she held the role of head of women's football since May of 2023, helping the Eagles achieve promotion to the Barclays Women's Super League for the first time. She started at Watford Women's as general manager for 2.5 years and oversee the Hornets promotion to the Championship in the 2021 season. A short spell with FA Wales followed, where she supported the restructure of the domestic women's football pyramid. Grace then went on to become operations manager at Bristol City Women and soon transitioned into the role of general manager. She was responsible for reshaping their football operation, and in her final season there, the Robins secured promotion back into the WSL. So you can see where this is going on Grace Williams. And Grace Williams, of course, herself said, I am extremely proud to be joining Newcastle United Women as Director of Women's Football. It is clear just how ambitious this club is, and they have a clear vision for success. So it felt like the perfect fit for me. I can't wait to get started and to help build on the really strong foundations that are already here. Like we've seen this summer, the lasses are making massive waves, getting in huge names like Jordan Nobbs. They've gotten in other massive players as well to the women's setup. And this season could be the season that we see, the lasses, fingers crossed, make it to the WSL, which was always Amanda Staveley's little pet project on the side of being a part owner of Newcastle United. And obviously with Amanda Staveley now gone, the lasses will still strive to hit that aim for Amanda Staveley. But let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Massive thank you as well for the support shown on the channel of late on the short, of course, that was put up on the channel. Well over 100k views on that now, so absolutely massive thank you for that. And of course we hit 1 million views on the channel as well. A massive milestone, a massive 8-year journey it's took to get to this point. And I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody who has supported this channel along the way, and there's a lot more to come, so please stick around. And if you haven't done it yet, what you're waiting for, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell for all notifications, and I'll see you all in the next one. Away the lads.